Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I'm actually going to be working in a hymnal doing a little faith journaling, and I wanted to show you these new goodies from Kelly Bangs. This is the last release for Project Gr8tful. So Project Gr8tful is a year-long project. You can find all of the months available in the Illustrated Faith print and pray shop. There's a devotional that goes with it. There's a whole thing, and she's been releasing these gorgeous goodies every month. And October is the last month, so we have some beautiful papers. It's all the fall feels, but in the Kelly Bangs color palette, which I think we can all agree is just gorgeous. I love these papers. Those are so pretty. And then I already cut out all my elements. So there is just like, you guys, there's just a ton. There's a ton of all the little bits. There's ephemera. There are numbers, which I did not print out yet, but I can't even express how cute all of these elements are. They are so good. It's so good. So there's a ton of stuff. I have taken the time to cut them all out with my Cricut so that I can start crafting, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I will link this set down below. If you're interested in learning more about Project Gr8tful, I have a bunch of channels or a bunch of videos on my channel about how I have used this through the year, not just for the Project Gr8tful activity itself, but for different projects throughout the year. So check that out. All of the printables are available over at Illustrated Faith, so you'll want to see those. And otherwise, I'm going to put you guys on fast forward. We're going to do a little hymnal journaling. Let's go. We're going to get started with a little mixed media. I haven't used my Distress Oxide sprays in a while, so I'm going to start with that and just put a little bit of tattered rose and spun sugar just to give a little color to the back of the page. Something that kind of shocks me about hymnal pages is that the paper is much thicker than my Bible, and so these did not bleed through at all. I always get questions about where I found my hymnal. I think you can often find them at thrift stores and like the Salvation Army and things like that. My church was getting rid of some hymnals a few years ago in a big clean out, and so I took one then so that I could use it for journaling purposes. And I think it's a fun way to change up your faith journaling just a little bit. So I dried the Distress Oxide spray. Now I have a stencil, and I'm going to use a little bit of orange in there just to bring in some of the Kelly Bangs colors. She loves some pink and orange, so I definitely want to include that because it's going to be, of course, in a lot of the different printables. So we'll get that down on the page. I also have some gloss sprays pulled out, but I'm going to use those as a finishing touch. I absolutely love mixing the gloss sprays with the Distress Oxides just because they have a different shine to them. Distress Oxides end up looking chalky when they dry, and the gloss sprays, of course, are glossy. And so I like the contrast between the two, and I think they come out really well on spreads. So I'll be using that in just a bit. But first, let me go through. There are so many ephemera pieces and journaling bits and just all the things. So I'm going to go through and just find some of the bigger foliage pieces. I'm wanting to do kind of a fall spread. The idea behind the spread is just a gratitude spread, being thankful to God for being there in every season. Of course, we have the seasons of the year, but in every season of life. And of course, we're called to be grateful in all things, maybe not for all things, but we know that God is with us. And so we can be grateful that He is not leaving our sides, even when a particular season is really trying, is really difficult, even when we are having trouble following Him, He is never leaving us. So I'm just going to do a gratitude spread. Based on that, I have all my elements picked out here, and in order to make them kind of pop a little bit, I'm going to take some gray Distress Oxide and just do a little bit of inking around the edges. It just gives it a little bit more of a worn feel, which I totally like a lot, and I feel like it adds a little something to printables. This is something I do all of the time to my printables, just because that white edge can be really nice, can make it pop as well, but adding your own ink color can really customize it and make it your own. So I like adding it. I'm going to use this big cluster piece. I love that Kelly Bangs did the clustering for us with all of those. That one big piece in the middle that looks like a bunch of journaling cards all together, that is one printable piece, and I think it makes it super easy to look like you're like a clustering queen on your page, and Kelly made it easy for all of us. Once the inking is done, I am just going to layer the different pieces together. I like to have some of the fall leaves on top, some behind, just looking like they're cascading down the page. The hymn I chose was He Keeps Me Singing, referencing Isaiah 12:5, where it says, "Sing to the Lord, for he has done glorious things." And I just wanted to be thankful to God for keeping me singing in every season of life. So I'm going to trim off the edges here of those leaves, all that foliage. I considered leaving them, but of course when I close my book, they'll stick out and end up getting a little bit janky. So we're gonna just trim that off on the edge. And then I'm going to see how I can add a little bit of something extra. And this is with the gloss sprays. I tend to not spray the gloss sprays. I tend to just open up the cap and do some tapping just so I can get some splatters across the page. And like I said, they end with a sheen, which is really nice. I'm using cheddar and then whatever, I think it's apricot. So an orange and like a light pink that work out really well with this color spread. And I'll take that and dry it. And now let's add the rest of our title. So I'm using the title of the hymn, which is He Keeps Me Singing, and then I'm adding in every season. And I believe these puffy alphas are actually from Felicity Jane. I just had them in my stash. I used to get the Felicity Jane subscription, and so I have plenty of those supplies in my stash. So I grabbed this one and thought it fit really well. In order to make the title pop a little bit more, I am going to add something to it in just a second after I do the date here at the bottom. Perfect. I maybe was a little heavy-handed on there, but we're going to add a little bit of black at the top with a messy box around He Keeps Me Singing, and then some doodly arrows that point to in every season, just to bring that black up to the top a little bit more and to highlight the title, because of course the one on the page was being covered a little bit by Distress Oxide, and I wanted to make sure you knew that those two were meant to go together. So have those there, and then I'm just going to write out a quick prayer, and it says, "Thank you, Lord, for walking with me through every season. God is so good." That is going to be it for this hymnal journaling. Let me know what you think of this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Be sure to check out Kelly's new release in the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray shop. This is Project Gr8tful October. There are papers, there are ephemera, there are journaling bits, there are numbers, there are all the things. So be sure to check that out. I will link other things that I used in the description box below as well, so you can be sure to check those out if you're interested. To finish this one up, I'm just adding a little shading on the side, just bringing that gray in a bit more to frame out the page, and that's going to be it. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you so much for all of your support. You are amazing. And thank you to all of you for watching, for commenting, for liking. It really does mean the world. I hope that you all have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.